Look, I appeared on Times Square and people are rooting for me. This time the prompt is, our first EWOW friends will be eliminated this round. What does the EWOW afterlife look like? During this section Carrie was holding a knife and it was the scariest thing I've ever seen. I'm going to have nightmares for 1 month straight. There's an inside joke where he often makes his acronym stand for something different every time, like Carrie Kitten Hugger or Carrie Kidnaps Humans. I want to make a version of that but related to EWOW. Him holding the knife while talking about afterlife implies something bad happening to the contestants. I would do, Carrie kills booksonas, but the third word doesn't start with the letter H. I found the word handbook but it doesn't really fit and I couldn't find any other words related to books. So instead I found adjectives and combined them, hibernated books and hindered books. I went with hindered and my response is, they will see the horrors of carykh aka Carrie kills hindered booksonas. By the way, if you don't know what EWOW is, you can pause the screen and read. Anyways, last time a big issue was originality. Tons of responses were really similar to mine, causing me to perform really badly. And now, since this specific moment of the video is really unusual and funny, I feel like tons of other people will also make jokes related to Carrie holding the knife. But I spent like 2 days trying to think of more ideas and my brain is empty. I was thinking of maybe stuff related to libraries or answering the EWOW afterlife is inside the remaining contestants' pages honoring them, but that sounds super boring. The initial response has more emotion and personality. I'm sure there's some extremely clever stuff that you could do with this prompt, but I just can't really think of it, and sometimes, less is more, so I'm going to try to not worry too much and not overthink it and just see what happens. This commenter is predicting that this time I'll get 109th place. We'll check later in the video to see how close they got. I really want the prediction to be right. That is quite some optimism you've got in me. We've also got one of the members from the rarest club, the 5 Lives Club, consisting of 65 members accounting for 0.39% of the total amount of contestants. I wonder how many will end up getting 6 lives. I predict that it's going to be 15-20 of them simply because it feels like who performed well is more likely to continue performing well. I also predict that over 8,000 people will be eliminated, purely because I doubt whoever didn't respond in the second episode is going to suddenly respond now. I think the amount of blank responses will increase. With a big bulk of people inactive automatically losing a life, increasing the red zone means there's a possibility that more than 49% will get eliminated. Some time ago I commissioned an artist and got this art. I really love this art so much. It's so silly and fluffy and has a huge tail. So I decided this time I'll update my booksona image to this. Maybe I will try every episode to change the image, but I don't know if I'll be able to. I have drawn it plenty of times and I do have some fan art too, so I shouldn't run out. But I also want the art that I put to be good, like for example this would be too hard to see when it's tiny and this one is not even finished. For the confessional I didn't really know what else to say, so I just simply credited the artist. It was done by Beta Scoria. I got a shout out from Quirky Burger. Not that one, this one. I'm mentioning this person because they mentioned me because I mentioned them because they commented on my video that they were doing something similar to me. And since me mentioning them means them mentioning me, but when I get mentioned I also mention back, therefore creating a mention inception loop that never ends where each mention of the mentioning means more mentions. Yeah, sorry, mention doesn't even sound like a word anymore. I intentionally made it confusing cause it sounded funny, but I do wonder how many layers to this can there be. I'm going to give y'all a little lesson on how to pronounce my name. The first part is pronounced like disc from music disc or hard disk, and the rest of the name, to be honest, I don't really know. Most people call me just disc, so I don't even think about the other part. Since I've noticed them having a wiki page, my trusty rare events magnet has summoned the creator of that wiki page, making one for me too. Let's check it out. Disc is an upcoming contestant in 11 Words of Wisdom, True. Mr. Tweester commented on their video, a bit like the creator of this wiki page, and also a bit like another 100 people that commented on my video. Gender, female with a question mark. TWOW central member, no, if it's referring to this one then I think I am there, that's how I joined a bunch of booksona queues. Placement 66%, I'm not sure what this refers to. In the first episode I placed in the top 5% and the second episode in the top 51%, so it wouldn't make sense for the overall to be lower than both of those. Or it could be the average of all my scores. I calculated and yes, it's the average of the scores. Appearance, their booksona is a large purple cat booksona with a big fluffy tail. The image is missing. I have a little trick that not many people know. When you're saving an image from the community tab, click Open Image in a new tab and then delete this part of the link. This number represents the resolution it's going to save at. Right now it's at 800, so when I save the image, the size is 800 by 800. If I change the number to 2000 then the size changes to 2000 by 2000. And if the number is higher than the original size, then you're going to get the original size with the original resolution, which in my case it's 2500 by 2500 pixels. You can just scroll to the community post with the current image I'm using, and it turns out that I actually haven't posted that image anywhere in my community tab. I'll show the images that I'm using in its full glory right now. But the page got an update. Someone else saw the page and added more fancy information and images and left this lovely note. Hey there Disc, if you see this then thank you. I absolutely adore your art style and your booksona, so I wanted to make a gallery. Some images may look off though, so if you have better quality images then you could add them or add any other images you want to add. I also updated the info, confessional, and responses. Good luck on your journey. I really appreciate that you both took time out of your day just to simply work on this page. You put in a lot of effort and made something really cool. Thanks. EWOW. Despite never posting this image in the community tab and always being covered in the videos while having a transparent background, you somehow found this image somewhere and I don't know where. I think you got it from the TWOW subreddit cause I posted it there. I know this one is from Redbubble because in the original image the right hand got cropped a bit, and it wasn't a big deal up until I put it on Redbubble and it looked super bad. So I had to go back and draw a bit more of the hand. It is so much harder to modify an already finished drawing, but I managed to do it. This is another example of an art that I wanted to put, but just this very tiny bit is cropped and it's quite the hassle to fill that in. This one is on YouTube too, also this sticker one is on YouTube. For some reason this is one of the rare drawings where the original size is 900 by 900. Another design which has a more styled art style without any of the fluffy style. I like seeing how other people would describe my art. A very minimalistic while also chibi version of Disc's book. You can see this as their Redbubble profile photo. Yeah, I didn't know what to put as the profile photo. The one on YouTube is one of my earliest arts. It was before I even knew how to draw. And now it kinda needs a change, but it's also somewhat iconic since it's been there for so long and I don't know what to change it to, and I also don't want to confuse subscribers because a lot of people recognize channels by the profile photo. Unlike other social medias, on YouTube it's not common to change the profile photo often. My responses and confessionals are now here and there's a bit more trivia. No, they did not write down every single EWOW response. They used OCR. What is that? Oh, it's something that recognizes and registers text. This was in response to me being confused as to why every single response was written on this page. Some other coincidences happened, like a fellow ranked neighbor commenting on one of their EWOW videos, or some people on the camp list commenting on the video as well. That's true. I wonder what will happen this time. Just like KTGE official, they use Blender for making their videos. Wow, that's cool. I'm now curious to see. It took me a while to realize. I thought it was a bunch of things being yeeted and thrown around, but it's actually a recreation of the TPOT intro. They have a Redbubble and Coffee account for supporting their art endeavors. Yeah, time to promote my sites. Buy stickers, by commission, support me. Link in description. If anyone has more ideas of trivia to be added to my wiki page, tell me. Now when you search up my name, there are more results. It is no longer empty. Well, it depends where you search it. For some reason there are two different wiki sites for EWOW. Some stuff appearing on one site doesn't appear in the other and vice versa. A result containing my name is the page of the creator of my page. Notable moments, getting noticed by Disc. This entire page is filled to the brim with this silly evil-looking face. There are so many everywhere. And yet this part is the only place where it's suddenly missing. I have some kind of magic that cures the evil face curse. But the silly evil face shall rule the world. Time to have even more of it. Hee hee. I didn't even know that I was part of this alliance. Cool. I wanted to have a little clarification about the sites that find your responses. Carrie did say last season that it's okay to vote yourself too, and people did that. It's just that now the sheer amount of responses means that you can't really find it on your own anymore. In addition, the very low amount of votes per response in the first episode, and potentially more of the early episodes if we don't continue to get incentivized to vote 10 times, meant that using this tool could make a very big difference between losing and winning lives. And it felt a bit unfair in a game where you're supposed to rank high because you had a good response and not because you found a way to manipulate the score. Now the amount of votes per response has increased and it seems not as much of a big deal anymore. Obviously there are always going to be people that absolutely abuse this by spam voting. I didn't fully understand this. Apparently the way it's calculated, there's vote weight, meaning that if, let's say for example, you vote yourself 5 times, the more you vote the less impact each vote has. Therefore you voting yourself 5 times won't have the impact of 5 votes. But I think people can still bypass that by having like 7 alt accounts. I'm not sure if I got it right cause it's confusing and it feels like everyone has a different definition of it, so take this explanation of vote weight with a grain of salt, and if anyone knows any better you can educate me down in the comments. On another topic, tons of people had issues with not remembering the email or misspelling it. Remember that after you fill out the form, a copy of it is sent to your email. If you don't find it, then it means that you didn't put in the right email. Let's take for example this. They sent the prompt for the second episode, yet it didn't appear, meaning something went awry. I tried helping them and it turns out a typo was made when signing up. It is actually possible to correct the typo. If you look hard enough, you'll notice that very hidden in the description of the video is an email. There you can contact the team to solve issues like these if you are unable to submit for future episodes due to losing access to your email or misspelling it. Note that this means of communication should only be used for serious concerns and changes, and should not be spammed or messaged for no good reason. Well, the email was hidden until this video just appeared talking about it. There we also got an extension because so many didn't answer. He includes very little commentary in these videos and apparently the episodes won't have any at all anymore. I think that's causing so many people to lose interest cause many were interested in the entertainment side of this as well. I have a feeling that no one will click on the episodes when it's just the voting screens. Now we have a period of regression, but I hope after the not very interested contestants are eliminated, the remaining will be like the core fans that will be more devoted. I just remember in the first season every episode had so much commentary and news, you got to find out a lot about what was happening lately in the community. I guess it's kinda exactly what I'm doing right now. I show y'all the latest news about EWOW but from my point of view. And your comments are helping me find more topics to have discussions around. If you ever find something interesting related to EWOW or want to just share your thoughts, feel free to do so in the comments so we can keep this series going. Also, side note, there was a very slim chance that I could have appeared in the suggested videos sidebar. I can actually see in YouTube analytics on what videos were my videos suggested the most. My own video is pretty high, makes sense because some might be binge watching. As I look at the voting screens, I'm surprised I can't find anyone that did a carry acronym joke. I genuinely can't tell if I'm gonna do better or worse than the others. Some are referencing TWOW, some are still talking about Tide Pods and 11 from the previous prompts. Carry is mentioned plenty of times but not like I did. Also libraries are mentioned. Unrelated, but last time someone told me a contestant responded with pancakes and didn't lose a life. Now someone else told me where to find it and I can confirm it's somehow real. It's very funny how my booksona looks so detailed compared to the rest. I randomly got a shout out from this person, along with a lot of other people. I didn't even know there were even that many documenting their EWOW journey. If you want to see more people talk about EWOW, you can check them out, especially this channel. I watched the video and it's quite high effort and well put together. I got jump scared by myself appearing there. Now I wonder on how many videos have I appeared on that I don't know about. They are focusing on a bit of a different aspect of EWOW. Basically, if you get eliminated you can no longer continue documenting your journey, so they formed a group of people so that even if some are eliminated, they can still continue the series. They analyze their responses and performance and a bunch of other stuff. I won't spoil you. I really recommend you watch it. I did find it quite intriguing how overall half of the people lost a life and top 5% gain a life, but in this specific group of 131 people there are almost 3 times more people that gained a life compared to those who lost a life. Like for the whole contest the amount of lives in total is decreasing and yet for them it's increasing. I might possibly join the group and you might possibly find me on future episodes, wink wink. By the way, if I was eliminated, I can still continue the series. I would still be able to talk about the latest news and to still come up answers to the prompts even without being able to submit them, and I could theorize how well would I have done. I've received these graphs. This one shows the amount of hearts my town has. We can see that it went from 17 to 7 hearts. Wait a second, that seems a bit low as there are more than 7 people with a life. Wait, no, I got a clarification and it actually shows how many people didn't lose a life, so that kinda confused me. And the other one shows the scores me and the person who made the graphs got. I went from gaining a life to almost losing one. These might not be the most exciting graphs as they only include 2 rounds, but I can't imagine how fascinating they will look in the future after we go through more rounds. That's Pikachu. They made a super cool intro for EWOW based on the animatic battle intro that included me too. This intro is one of my favorites, it goes so hard. So of course I'm happy to see a booksona version of it. It hasn't been fully finished, but there I am. I appear for 3 whole frames. For some reason I'm one of the very few that didn't have a transparent background. Also apparently these were found on the wiki. It's awesome how a cool thing can lead to more cool things happening. I don't know where in the wiki can I see a gallery of booksonas. I know I should have said this closer to the beginning of the video. I want to be on the Hot 100 OSC list, but I'm under the threshold. You all have the power to help me reach this goal. Can you help me reach it? Magnety Boy also made an intro inspired by IDFB. Since it includes everyone, it is 10 minutes long. It's very easy to miss it, but I appear at minute 224. It took me way longer than I want to admit to find myself there. I'm also wondering, how did you even manage to obtain all the booksonas for this? Another graph, largest improvement went from close to the very last place to almost first place, and vice versa with the largest decrease in performance. This goes to show you that even if you do super bad, next round you can still do super well. And if you're doing well, don't relax, you still have to continue fighting to keep that performance. A contestant got the exact same score both rounds, and yet it still led to a difference of 5,000 ranks higher, mainly due to the ones that didn't respond. If you remember, in TWOW at some point carykh said out loud every single name. Now there's too many for any human being to go through everyone. But 18 people got together and made this video pronouncing every name. Every person did a portion till they finished, with the video ending up almost 8 hours long. My name was read by Skunk Gamer.
Discrazit.
Y'all should also see if your name was said right. The results finally arrived, and yay, I'm happy that I got 337th place and gained yet another life. 8 votes and more controversial than all my previous responses. I now have 5 lives and am part of the 116-member 5 Lives Club. I'm surprised that I'm performing so well compared to everyone else. Also to this person, not quite right, but you were a lot more close than I was expecting, so good job. My performance over time graph has been updated. It looks like the letter V. In addition, the most consistent player across all 3 rounds, having the score close to 45 every time, I think they lost all lives. And the least consistent player is all over the place. Top 5 most consistent, top 5 least consistent. About 6,000 people got eliminated, and it's time for the competition to get fiercer. The amount of votes went down a lot, it basically halved. The person that I got these graphs from got a shout out, so that's awesome. A lot of various different words were used, most of them having not much of an effect. The word kill did ever so slightly worse, yet I did super well with that word. I'm shocked only 300 used carry, and even less, a whole 16 responses used carykh, me being the only one that gained a life from it. Around half of my town has been eliminated, me having the most amount of lives and Earth Plume having 4 lives. Meanwhile, this neighbor was close to the very bottom in terms of rank. This is one of the worst performing screens, with the vast majority having either 0 or 1 life and the average life count of 0.5. And this is one of the best screens, with the average life count of 1.8. So many with 4 lives. My screen is ranked at about 346 out of 519 total screens, so not the best. The top response is kinda wholesome. Carykh finally lost a life. I was expecting for him to gain a life every round. Also, I love how he cut a rope to show us death and afterlife. And the super smooth animations in this part. For some reason no mentions of AI has been made, so we don't know if any got eliminated. There are still some terrible responses present. Moon. Ah yes, the eliminated contestants are just sent to the moon. Next prompt, a bit more confusing and challenging. It's time to think of an 11-letter long word and make an acronym out of it.